Welcome back to Heart, the Just Life special for the girls. If you're new here, I'm Cicely, here with my co-host Sanja. And if you are not new here, you know what we're talking about today. I just got back from Europe and I have so much to talk about to you guys. And Sanja has been holding back to tell about her trip and her experiences since like May.
Yeah.
So we have a lot for you to catch up on. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, whatever. And yeah, so we're going to talk about our trips, how to travel like a pro, and how a trip changes you in some way.
Yeah.
So I noticed a while back that every trip comes with like new experiences and new perspectives. And honestly, it changes who I am a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know people joke that you make it like your whole personality when you get back.
Yeah. I feel like when I get back from a trip, it makes me feel like life is worth living again.
Yeah. And it opens your eyes to like different experiences and different perspectives.
And how much more is out there outside of Northwest Indiana?
Woo!
Yeah.
No, I think it's so important to travel. Like when you're staying in your same spot your whole life, you don't grow.
Yeah, definitely not.
So when you travel and experience all these new things, you are growing and you get to experience different things that people don't experience.
And obviously, like traveling can be pricey and not everybody can afford traveling. But when we're talking about traveling, that doesn't necessarily mean like you have to travel across the world, travel across the country. Like for me, traveling is honestly even going to like Illinois or New Buffalo, spending the day there. So when we talk about traveling, we're not sitting here encouraging you guys to drop a bag, leaving the country or something, but we're just talking about leaving your hometown, getting out, even if it's like going for a drive in your state.
Yeah,
but
even
visiting
like
elsewhere.
Even like in Indiana, there's so many cool places.
I know. I feel like we get a bad rep. It's like, oh, you're in Indiana, all you have there is corn, but
there's more than corn.
There is. There's actually a lot of cool stuff in Indiana, and I love going on hikes and stuff. So there's
Me
a
too.
lot of like cool state parks and forests and stuff where you can take hikes. Like at IU, there is I think it's the Monroe County Forest Preserve, and there's so much cool stuff in there. There's like a tower in the forest that was built so that somebody could watch out to make sure there weren't forest fires, and now it's just like this tall tower in the middle of the forest, and when you go up there, it's honestly like breathtaking and shocking how beautiful Indiana can be, and you'd never think that, but it's all about just like exploring and getting out of your normal comfort zone of where you live,
100%. I remember in 2020 we couldn't do anything, but I was feeling so like, what's the word? Cabin fever. I just had it so bad. So I did some research and I found out that Indiana has a waterfall.
Oh, well, it does?
Yeah.
Do you know where it's at?
It's Williamsport, Indiana. Okay. So it's kind of by Lafayette.
I was gonna say I definitely knew that because I was Googling like cool things to do in Indiana once too, and yeah, I was gonna say I did know that. I just didn't know where.
And my friend, this is just like coincidence. He lived 2 minutes away from it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we went there and there's like things you can go like travel. Like they had like a cave you could go in. It was so cool.
There's also really fun free stuff to do. Obviously going anywhere costs money for gas and stuff, but I've been to like Starved Rock and they have waterfalls and stuff there too, and that's in Illinois. I mean, it's like 2 hours away from Northwest Indiana, but it's still cool. Like you don't feel like you're in the Midwest.
No.
And it's just like a fun new experience, and those are the type of things that fulfill me too. It's like I don't need to go across the country for me to consider myself like taking a trip.
Yeah, like Lake Michigan. We had like, it literally looks like an ocean. If you put me there and I didn't know where I was at, I would guess an ocean.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the dunes is awesome.
So awesome.
I love like hiking the dunes. And even learning about the dunes in one of my science classes in college was very fascinating. It's like one of the most diverse ecosystems in the world. So
yeah, so you kind of make your opportunity. Like go out, explore. Even in your hometown, I'm sure there are things you can do to kind of like push you out of that comfort zone. But I think we're just going to talk about like trips we've taken that really changed, and of course our most recent trip and how that has kind of changed our life.
Yeah. Well, as Cicely said, in the beginning of May, I traveled to Europe and I went on a 10-day cruise through the Norwegian Cruise Line.
Woo!
I got to go to Italy, I got to go to the south of France, and I went to Greece. And then I also went to Ireland afterwards just for fun. But it was a life-changing experience. When I think about the trip, I think it was honestly like the trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
There were places that I visited that I really thought like I only could imagine in my wildest dreams. And coming back, in the moment, you feel like the trip is never going to end, and then it ends so quickly. And coming back, it's like it's already been 2 months since I've been on that trip, and it honestly feels like a lifetime ago. And it really changed my perspective on things. I remember I came back from the trip and I was like, my life goal is I'm moving to the south of France. Like, I can't imagine being unhappy living there because it is just such a wealthy, beautiful, like, atmosphere. Everybody has money. Everybody looks incredible. I'm like, I couldn't imagine being sad here. So I came back and I really was like, my lifetime goal is to move to the south of France one day. It's at least for like a year or two. But it was the best trip of my life. And I am fortunate because I do get to travel quite often. My parents have a place in Florida, so I get to go to Florida a lot. But I hadn't been back to Europe since I moved back to America from Europe. So going back there and just like embracing the lifestyle of being in Europe and remembering how much culture lies outside of America. I feel like sometimes when you live here, it's like hard to imagine life outside of this country. And once you leave the country, you're like, there's so much more out there that you don't even like think about when you're here. So
you basically just said everything I was gonna say.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So I also went on a cruise with Norwegian Cruise Line.
NCL, baby.
So we'll probably talk about that. But I went to Italy, Croatia, and Greece, and the most beautiful places that you can't even imagine. Croatia, it was like living in a postcard.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane. Italy was everything and beyond what I expected. The food, the culture, the ambiance, like everything.
The food, oh my God. Like, I would give my left leg to eat in Europe again because Greece and the food in Italy, like, can't eat pasta the same here.
No, it's runt pasta, honestly. But yeah, I had pasta and wine every night. Yeah. But yeah. I didn't feel bloated or anything. I felt like fine.
Oh, I felt like $1 million coming back from the cruise because you walk everywhere. You walk everywhere in Europe, and that's why everyone's so skinny there, is because the food isn't like garbage and everyone's walking everywhere. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was in shape like that. One day I looked at my phone and I had like 22,000 steps, and I was like, oh my God, if I lived here, I would be actually a friggin' twig.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And like you said, trip of a lifetime. Mm-hmm. This has been one of my life goals, Cicily and Sicily. I feel like that was kind of, meant.
On brand, yes.
So that was amazing. Yeah, it's so many different experiences, different people you meet, and just a trip of a lifetime.
I think even, we were briefly talking about this before, but one thing that was awesome about my cruise was I met a great group of people around my age. I was with my older sister, so we made a really good group of cruise friends. And I think I explained this last podcast, but when you know that your time is so limited, it's like being on the cruise isn't reality. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like not real. So your time in there, it's like a day is like a week in there. So getting to know people, it's like you get to know somebody like so much faster than you would in real life. So we were very fortunate to meet awesome people from all over the world, all over the country and stuff. And to this day, I mean, I'm still in touch with them. And, who knows, like maybe one day we'll all be able to see each other elsewhere. And to me, that was one of the most special parts about the cruise, was that I was able to meet people my age and make friends, and it just made being on the cruise that much more enjoyable. Obviously, the experiences when I was off the cruise were immaculate, like can't even describe it, but meeting those people on the cruise just made that experience like 10 times better.
Yeah. So when was the first time you traveled outside of America?
Well, the first time I traveled outside of America, I actually moved outside of America. It was when I moved to Serbia when I was 4 years old. So I lived in Serbia for 4 years. I moved back when I was 8, and I guess I hadn't been back to Europe specifically since I left Europe.
Oh,
Since I
wow.
left Serbia. I mean, I'd been to like other places outside of the country, but not in Europe.
Okay.
So going back, it was like the best feeling in the world because that was my childhood, you know, living
Yeah.
in a different country, and it really reminded me how special it is to be able to have those opportunities and stuff. And I know that when I was living in Serbia, we traveled around Europe. Like I went to Istanbul, I went to Venice. Didn't you go to Venice?
Yes.
So that was cool because, you know, it's sinking. So we can both say, like, we visited it before I went underwater. But I loved Venice. And I was so young, obviously. Like, I don't remember it as much as I wished I could, but
I would go
amazing.
back. That was probably one of my favorite spots. I didn't get enough time there. It was only like a couple hours, and I could stay there like for a week.
That's the tough thing about cruises is, like, your time places is so limited. And obviously, you just want to you go to these amazing places, and you're like, I wish I even had just, like, a day here.
Yeah.
But it's literally, like, maybe 8 or 9 hours most, you know, and it's not enough time to embrace everything. And you factor like, oh, you want to get a meal, like that's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that's tough, that if you're considering traveling on a cruise, you need to keep in mind that your time in these places is so limited, you know.
Yeah.
So
It is a great way to travel if you want to hit like different countries though. Like
Mhm.
there's no way I could have had a car and drove all across Italy
Yeah.
and then to Greece and then to Croatia. Like the cruise was the financially like best option.
for sure. Did you go on a lot of like excursions?
We went on one and then one got canceled
Mm.
and that was kind of crazy. But real quick, so do you think this trip was like your trip that like wow, this really sparked like traveling, or was it before this?
I've always like had a passion for traveling, but it had been so long since I'd been back to Europe, and I think that this trip kind of reminded me that I want to expand my traveling from just being in the country to Europe. Like I really want to go to Brazil. I want to go to Thailand. I would love to go to Barcelona one day. So there are a bunch of places that it kind of sparked in me that like I want to leave the country, and it kind of reminded me how it is to travel outside of the country, like being on a really long airplane flight and what sensible packing is, you know. Like I kind of went in it blinded, and I certainly wasn't fully prepared. I think I packed really well for the cruise, but then when I was like in Ireland and stuff, it was kind of cold, so like I wasn't prepared for that. So just like definitely sparked wanting to travel outside of the country for me, and then, you know, gave me a much better understanding of how to be better prepared for my next trip when I do leave the country. What would you say this trip was the same for you?
Yes, but I think my first trip that I like fell in love and like really wanted to like explore more was in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to like a resort in Mexico. My friends, family, and I drove to Mexico from Tucson.
Oh, wow.
So that
Yeah,
was an
I mean,
experience.
I mean, I know like it's a manageable drive.
Yeah, it was only 5 hours.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I have, you know, like one of my best friends lives in Arizona, and I know they did that too. Like they would drive from Arizona to Mexico, and
Yeah.
like I didn't even know that was a thing.
And it was really cool because it opened my eyes like, wow, like this is way different than America. I saw like people who lived in like tents on the side of the road, and that was the first time I've ever seen anything like that other than like the homeless people in America. I saw like kids playing soccer with like a plastic bag ball, and like it was like sad but like also like really eye-opening at the same time. But of course like Mexico is like gorgeous. so gorgeous. And we were in the middle of nowhere, like had the whole place to ourselves.
Yeah.
We went on like a boat and went fishing, and I ate like raw fish, which was kind of weird, but it was an experience. Yeah, like that's what is so special about these trips is like how many people can say you ate a raw fish?
Sushi.
Well, yeah, I guess. I'm kidding. Well, no, like I caught the fish and then ate it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But I mean, I love Mexico too, but I stayed on a resort. So I guess I didn't really get like as much of that experience, you know. We left the resort a few times, and one of them was to go to Coco Bongo, which was 11 out of 10. But the like food and stuff out there is amazing. Like leaving the resort, I'm never too crazy about food on resorts, you know.
Yeah.
When it's all inclusive, there's like nice restaurants and stuff, but like it's a lot of buffets and stuff like that. I don't really like buffets.
Yeah.
But eating food outside of the resort, we went and got sushi and stuff, and like I would say that the sushi we had was comparable to Nobu, and like literally maybe for like I think there were 8 of us, maybe 7 of us, and our total bill with like drinks and food, appetizers, it was like $70. Like,
yeah.
In the States, that would have been like $1,000 meal, and I'm not even exaggerating that. Like,
I believe it. That was such a culture shock to me because we went to like the gas station when we first got there, and I got like snacks, drinks, and I got like a bunch of stuff. Like I was hungry, and they're like, "Oh, $7 American." 7.
Yeah. That was another cool thing about being in Europe is everywhere we went, we would get a bottle of wine. And these are really amazing bottles of wine, like taste incredible. This is no like Barefoot Moscato, you know, and they're the price of like really cheap wines here. So
I got a Valentino wallet for $20.
oh my god, real?
Yeah.
From like a consignment store?
It was like an outlet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, is this for real? And my mom, oh my gosh, she like went up to the people, she's like, is this real?
I know in Italy they told us that they're not allowed to sell fake designer.
Okay.
Like there will be people on the street who have fake designer stuff, but if you go in a store, like legally they're not allowed to sell fake designer. I don't know if she was just telling me that because she was trying to like get me to buy something, but that's what I was told.
Yeah, and my grandma, she got like a nice bag, like 90% off. Like insane. Awesome. So that was really cool. And yeah, the food prices were so cheap.
I know that like when you come back in through the US Customs and they ask you about what you bought and stuff, like they're stern. And they'll give you a hard time, you know? It's scary.
I brought home olive oil.
And did they hound you?
A little bit. It wasn't too bad, but they're like, why do you need 2 things of olive oil?
Because you want that Italian olive oil.
Yeah, like I just wanted some cool stuff to bring back. I wanted to bring back limoncello, but it's whatever. And Aperol spritz, I got obsessed with those on the trip.
I'm not much of an Aperol spritz person or a limoncello
Really?
person.
Well, you don't like sweet.
I don't. No.
Yeah.
I've never liked Aperol spritz. Maybe I've just always had really bad ones, but I don't. I'm like a Bloody Mary girl, in and out. But yeah, I bought a lot of cool stuff in Italy, and it was scary going through U.S. Customs. Like they act like you're bringing illegal stuff, and you're like, I swear it's just a purse.
I had to go through customs twice because we had a layover in London.
Yeah.
So that was rough.
Well, that's kind of cool, London. Yeah. Even though you probably, I'm sure you didn't leave the airport or you ran through the airport, but still, I really want to go to London.
That's my next trip.
Together.
London and Paris.
We're going to do a high five count. Like, everybody take a sip for every time me and Cicely high five in this podcast.
Oh my gosh.
No, I would love to go to London.
That's my next trip. Like I promise.
Next summer.
My goal was in the next 2 years, but next summer, I mean, if I had
2
the funds,
yeah. I mean, I think I'm kind of overshooting here, but,
But yeah, like going back to like you don't have to travel outside of the States. Like we know like this isn't realistic if you wanted to like go to Italy and travel all over. Like yeah, you're probably looking at a pretty high price.
Yeah.
But like even in the States, there's so many cool opportunities.
Go to Vegas and look at the Eiffel Tower. No, I'm kidding.
like okay, we have the Grand Canyon. That's really cool.
And Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
It's one of those places you look and you're like, okay, now. Okay, forgive us. We just lost power in the studio.
That was so weird.
That was weird. That's the first. What were we talking about? Mount Rushmore?
For some reason, yes. But no, like there's, I don't know if this is just me, but there's like different energies at different places.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time I go to Florida, I am so happy.
Oh, I mean, how could you be unhappy
That-
in warm weather, tan? I am so pale right now. Like,
Me too.
I need a trip. But I just got back from, like, Nashville. Nashville is 2 states over from us. Well, 1 state, technically. Kentucky. Kentucky is, like, very thin. But what I was going to say is, like, I went to Nashville, and that was the most fun I've had in a long time. And it's so close. Is it expensive? Yes, it is very pricey, but it's so fun and it's so close. Like, a place that had great energy was Colorado. I loved Colorado. The people there were awesome. It was just like such a cool vibe. And I was in Vail. I don't know how to ski or snowboard, so I just went there for fun, but it was amazing.
First of all, I've never been to Nashville.
Oh, you should go.
I have, like-
You'd literally love it.
I have 10 outfits like already picked out for it. I
You
just
should
haven't went. But yeah, for those areas, I love Florida. Like Fort Myers is my favorite place in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, like Tucson, Phoenix, I love those areas. I love California. But I think just a change of pace once in a while too is important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Indiana has its own kind of energy. I love Indiana, but you need a break.
Yeah.
You need a break once in a while.
Love it.
So I guess we can go back to, we're jumping everywhere, I'm sorry.
I know.
There's no organization here. But, okay, back to Europe. What was your favorite place that you went?
The south of France. But I also loved Sicily. I got to
I know,
go
thanks.
to Sabocca, which is the town where the first Godfather, there were
Ooh.
scenes filmed there. So it was cool to, like, it was a really small town, beautiful, really high up in the hills and stuff. But it was beautiful. I had the best sandwich I've ever had in my life there with, like, it was just amazing. I dream about it. I will probably die thinking about that sandwich.
Okay, well, what was that your favorite food on the trip?
I will say along with Sicily, my other favorite place was Taormina, which is where the White Lotus season 2 was filmed. And then this is my last one. I'm sorry. I just loved it all. Florence. And Florence is where I had my best meal. I had this pesto gnocchi there, and like it was spectacular. It was the best meal I've ever had, the best pasta I've ever had. And then we met really cool people at the restaurant who were American, so we were talking to them. So that just made the experience even better.
So my favorite was also Sicily.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm a little biased, but it was amazing. Like, I can't really complain. My favorite food was in Sicily. Syracuse, Sicily, or Siracusa, Sicily. It was a penne pesto pasta.
Okay.
Literally, it was this big, like huge. I got it for lunch and I couldn't finish it, and I was like so sad because it was the best pasta I've ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm. And the portions there are massive, and they'll shame you if you don't finish your food.
Yeah, like I felt so bad.
They
So I'm
shame
like,
you. At restaurants, like when I was in Greece, I wasn't feeling well, and Greek food is one of my favorite cuisines. I love Greek food, but I didn't feel well, so I couldn't finish my food, and I couldn't bring food onto the boat. So when I told them I wasn't bringing it, they shamed me. They shamed the hell out of me.
In Greece, that was also my probably second favorite food, maybe Thai.
Mm-hmm.
I love Greek food, so I got like saganaki and like
my
gyro.
favorite.
Oh yeah, it was so good.
And a Greek salad. Like, bury
yes.
me with the Greek salad. Oh, I love Greek food so much. But thankfully, we're close enough to Chicago where, like, we can go to Greek Town.
Greek Town is so
it
good.
Greece? No. But you know what? It's still really good.
Okay, we'll have to go to Greek Town.
Yes.
I love Greek Town. Okay. Croatia also had amazing food and amazing wine.
I am jealous that you got to go to Croatia. I've heard great things about Croatia.
Honestly, I didn't think I would like it as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just went there and I couldn't stop staring because of how pretty it was. I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. Like,
yeah.
Insane. But, okay, what was your favorite experience?
Well, I loved being on the cruise. I had so much fun on the cruise, but outside of the cruise, my favorite experience was being in Florence. Me, my sister, and my mom were all just like in the best mood that day. It was rainy, but like it was just such the vibe there that day. Like everyone had their umbrellas. It was beautiful. We had great food, great wine, great company. It was just so beautiful. Got to see so many cool things, you know, like statues and art there is really big. So that was super cool. And just seeing the architecture and stuff, that was something that fascinated me.
Me
like,
too.
The architecture in Florence was magnificent. And that was probably my favorite experience. There were so many cool things that we did. Like I got to go to Monaco, I got to see Monte Carlo, got to be in the south of France, and that was all amazing. But just the day that we had in Florence was like unbeatable. How about you?
So my favorite experience kind of goes with my worst experience too, but I guess it just evens out. So it was my second day in Rome, and we went to the Vatican that morning, and then we went to the Colosseum, and then had pasta. I just love Rome.
Yeah.
Rome is just amazing. I can't even explain it, but it is truly like the city of love, and not like romance love too. It's just like love, like so cool. The art there, the food, just everything is perfect. But the Vatican, it was cool. I went when it was 100 degrees, and there was no air conditioning. Yeah. And it's a 5-hour tour, 500 stairs. So it was harsh. It was hard. Yeah.
I spent the most time in Rome. We spent 4 days after the cruise in Rome because we docked in a port town outside of Rome before we went to Ireland. And we didn't go to the Vatican, but we did go to the Colosseum. And that was just like surreal.
Yeah.
Actually being there and like recognizing the history that took place there, and actually being in that same place and like walking the same pathways as, you know, like it was surreal to me. That was really a cool experience. But I agree, Rome is definitely the city of love and the city of shopping.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was my favorite part about it.
I did get a new purse there.
Oh, so did I. That's number 3.
But back to the Vatican, like that was so cool because there was a statue that saw Moses and the crucifixion of St. Peter.
Yeah.
And St. Peter's like buried under the cathedral there. And I'm like, I couldn't even like wrap my brain around that because like that is so cool.
Yeah.
Like what?
I couldn't either. I do wish that we could have went to the Vatican, and we did have quite a few days there, but you take what you can get. I mean, I'm thankful for that experience. We did so many cool things while there, like obviously the Trevi Fountain.
Oh yes, I love the Trevi
Fountain.
I hope
you made wishes.
I did.
And it was really interesting because 2 days after we left Rome, climate activists dyed the Trevi Fountain. They like went in the Trevi Fountain and dyed the water like black or red or something. And I was like, oh my God, what if we would have witnessed that, you know? But it was really interesting. I saw a TikTok about like the Trevi Fountain throughout different times of the days, and like in the morning there's nobody there, like very few people there, and then when we were there it was literally like peak Trevi Fountain time, like 4:00, and we were lucky we got a good spot and we got cool pictures. Like the people were really nice and stuff, but that was a really cool experience. And then the Spanish Steps.
Yeah.
That was one of those things. It's like, okay, we did it. Let's go. But
honestly, I was not expecting to like the fountain as much as I did too. Like it was just so pretty and huge. Like
it was.
In pictures it looks big, but when you get there you're like, oh my gosh.
And the art on it, like the statues and stuff.
Everything is perfect. I can't even like explain how amazing it is.
I miss Europe. I'm having
withdrawals.
Post-Europe depression. Yes,
Me
withdrawals.
Too.
I really I would do anything to go back. And I, now knowing what I love about Europe and the places I literally love, that was one thing that was good about the cruise. It kind of taught me the places that I want to go to again if I ever get the opportunity, of course. So I definitely have like a list now of places that I would like to go to again before I die.
Have you been to Naples, Italy?
Yeah.
I love Naples too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was really nice.
I didn't get to go to Amalfi Coast though. I was so sad.
Me either. So that was our driver, we had an excursion booked for the Amalfi Coast, and it was raining that day, and he was sitting in his car, so we couldn't find him, yada yada yada. We didn't end up getting to go to the Amalfi Coast, which was obviously one of the places we were most excited to see, because it's
supposed to be like the most beautiful beach in the world.
No, yeah, exactly. But we also didn't have like a lot of time. So when he was late and we couldn't find him, it was like this was an excursion booked outside of the cruise. So if we weren't back on time, like,
you're screwed.
We would have been left. And not that I would have been mad about it, but
something similar happened to us like that. So our excursion with the cruise got changed to 1 o'clock. It was originally at 8 a.m.
Oh.
So then we couldn't do both. We had to choose one. And we went to Pompeii. I was disappointed.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to go to Pompeii, and we kind of decided against it. It wasn't something we were super interested in doing.
I've always been interested in it. I thought it was so cool, but the bodies aren't there. Like, that's like the whole reason, like, oh, Pompeii, like the body, they weren't there. I was so mad.
Yeah.
But I did have amazing margarita pizza and limoncello. So.
My, like, signature meal in Europe was I would get, like, octopus salad.
Okay.
And, like, most people are, like, the texture, and now me, I've, like, probably ate, like, 6 I don't want to say the wrong octopi. I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
I got some really good seafood pasta the first night. And it had octopus in it.
Oh, love.
Okay, next question. Worst experience?
The worst experience.
Or something you would have changed.
Okay, this is actually this isn't about the cruise. I don't think I had any negative experiences on the cruise besides the day that I was sick in Greece. That was in Athens. So that kind of sucked, especially because I really wanted to eat, but that wasn't the worst experience. When I was in Ireland, we went on an excursion. We took the paddy wagon, which is like one of those giant tour buses, to the cliffs of Moher. Yeah. And the bus was full, and there were 2 girls who were sitting in front of my sister, and me and my sister on the bus, and it was just a really bad experience because we were on the bus for like a grand total of 13 hours that day. Like, it was a whole journey. And the girl in front of me, nobody else on the bus reclined their chair. So the girl in front of me, for some reason, she had one of those neck pillows, and she reclined her chair all the way back. So I literally couldn't move my legs. And it just really rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it was so rude and inconsiderate. Like, I didn't recline my chair, and I didn't have a neck pillow. I was literally, like, breaking my neck sleeping on that bus. But, like, you do what you gotta do. And this girl is literally, like, if I would have went like this, like, me and her would have looked each other in the eyes. Like, that's how close she was to me. So that was just kind of my worst experience. Like, she was very rude and, like, inconsiderate, and that was a really long day as is, You're on the bus for so many hours, and you're already, like, overwhelmed. Nobody wants to be on a bus for 13 hours. Like,
I did that to her.
You did?
I did, yeah. What did you think of Cliffs?
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Did you see them?
I don't even have the words, like, for it. It's just, like, it looks like you're
it's like
on
it's
a
not
computer
real.
screen.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at, like, the Dell computer. I mean, it was just, like, it was out of this world, and it's crazy to think, like, you live on the same planet where such beauty like that exists, and that was an experience of a lifetime. And whatever, those girls aside, like, I just say that they were just kind of rude and inconsiderate, and that wasn't a positive experience. But at the end of the day, like, that trip in itself was incredible and also an experience of a lifetime. Like, I don't know when I'll ever get to say that I'll go back there,
Ireland was really cool. That was another trip of a lifetime. I went on St. Patrick's Day, which...
Oh my, I can't even imagine.
What's a better time to go?
I can't imagine a better time to go to Ireland than St. Patrick's Day.
It was amazing.
Did you go to Temple Bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
course.
So
That's a staple. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
And Guinness and...
We did. We went to the Guinness storehouse.
Yeah.
Which I never realized I liked Guinness until I was in Ireland.
It's a good beer.
It is good beer. It kind of tastes like salty. Can't explain it.
It's like a sweet and salty.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. We're getting off track.
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Well, okay, last one about the trip. What is something you wish you knew?
How to pack better.
Okay, I was gonna say the same thing.
Mhm.
But I had a really weird experience. I get to Rome airport and we're waiting for luggage. It took like an hour, and I'm like, I don't see my bag anywhere. And then I'm like, well, that kind of looks like mine, but it's like covered in tape. And I was like, wait, that is my suitcase covered in tape. TSA broke my big suitcase, so I had to pack everything I brought in my carry-on and my book bag.
Oh.
So it was tough.
I couldn't do that. I would have had to buy a new suitcase.
It was tough, but I did do it. My mom took some of my dirty clothes, and then I had to sacrifice and leave some of my stuff there.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Yeah, it sucked.
Can't you get like compensated for that?
I tried, but it had to be within 13 days. So when your suitcase does break at the airport, notify them immediately.
Boo.
I didn't have like reliable internet, so I couldn't. But it's whatever. I wish,
that's not whatever. Yeah. I would have thrown a BF, if you know what I mean.
I needed a new suitcase anyway. I just wanted that to last until...
And nobody wants to leave their stuff.
No.
Like, it's obviously, if you're bringing something with you across the country, it's something like of value that you want there. I would have been really mad.
One thing that did help, I packed my carry-on empty because I knew I was going to buy a bunch of stuff. So that did help a lot. But my grandma did pack like a big suitcase, a carry-on, and a book bag, which that was hard too because in Europe you have to walk. Like, they don't drop you off right at the building. They'll drop you off like a quarter mile away, and you have to walk.
And not a lot of places have elevators
No.
in Europe. And by not a lot, I mean like it is very rare to be in a place with an elevator in Europe.
And air conditioning.
And air conditioning. That's like a luxury. Oh, you want ice in your water? Okay, back again. Power out one more time. So we don't know what's going on with that. But as I was saying, you want ice in your water? That's weird. And also, they charge you for water in Europe. It's not free like in America. Like, it's like, that's weird to me because I'm a water girl. Like, I need water.
I've been on a water kick lately, like getting like certain waters, and I fell in love with the water in Italy. It's Acqua dei Pan. Amazing. I was having Italy withdrawal, so I bought a whole bottle.
Is it like in the glass bottle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's orange.
Yes. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I went to the store while I was having Italy withdrawals, and everything was like, limoncello or lemons or pasta. So yeah.
One of my favorite things to do when I travel is to try snacks from different places. So when I was in Italy, I was going ham on the chips. That was one thing I was mad about on the cruise is there were no snacks on the cruise. And after like 8 days there, I'm like, I want Doritos. I want chips. Like, I want a snack. They didn't have any of that.
That was hard.
When I went to Italy, I stocked up on snacks. Like, they had really interesting Pringles flavors. Like, yeah, I'm a snack girly. So
I bought a bunch of chocolate. I love chocolate. So Italian chocolate. Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a bunch of that. I like trying different snacks.
Yeah.
And just going to like their stores, because they don't have like Walmart on every block or Walgreens.
Yeah.
They have like different little pop-up shops. So that was really cool. Let's see.
My question for you
Okay.
is, what is your biggest piece of advice to somebody who's traveling?
I would say just enjoy the moment. Be present. It goes fast. It goes so fast. So just appreciate it and enjoy it.
I think my biggest piece of advice is to be open-minded. Like, when you're traveling places, embrace the culture. Like, don't think you're above something, you know?
Yeah.
Embracing the culture, really taking it in, you know? Like, you're always gonna have your reality at home and your normal there at home, but like when you're traveling somewhere, you know, like, get loose, embrace it, try that food that you wouldn't normally try here, or
Eat a raw fish.
Eat a raw fish that you literally just caught. But just be like open and be open-minded in trying new things when traveling. Like, that's something that I really can't stress enough. And don't be disrespectful to
No.
different cultures. Like, if it's not something that you like or you think that you won't like, don't be rude. Like, that's their normal. You think that everyone in the world thinks it's normal that we eat as much McDonald's as we do, you know? So
I always have that voice in my head, like, you're only here once. Why not do it?
yeah.
When I went to the Blarney Stone,
Mhm.
I'm kind of a germaphobe. I don't know if you knew that, but I was
I
like,
didn't know
oh,
that.
I don't know if I want to kiss the stone that everyone else is kissing. Like, that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of But then I was like, you know what? When am I going to be back at the Blarney Stone?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. So I did, and I'm so happy I did.
There's a lot of culture shocks in Europe. I will say one thing I noticed is the public bathrooms there.
Yeah.
Like, when I was in Rome, I was at the train station across the street from the Colosseum.
Uh-huh.
And we went in the train station to use the bathroom before we went on our tour in the Colosseum. And it was the most rancid, foul bathroom I've ever seen in my life.
Did it have the seat on it?
Yeah.
I went to, 4 bathrooms, and they didn't have a seat.
It had a seat on it. And Turkish toilets are really common in Europe. They're literally just, holes in the ground.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of culture shocks, to kind of be aware of. But you know what? It's temporary. Using the bathroom for 30 seconds, you'll get over it. It's not the end of the world. Is
Yeah.
it disgusting? Sure. But you'll get over it.
Yeah, just bring some hand sanitizer. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely a culture shock. I was like, where's the seat? So what are some of your traveling must-haves? We'll start with the plane. What do you need on these long, any plane ride actually?
Snacks. On the plane, I really just need, I'm easygoing. Since I'm so tiny, I can put my legs on the chair, but my must-haves is obviously, I need to have, shows or movies to be able to watch. I always need my headphones. I read more than half of a book on the way there.
Wow.
And I finished it on the way home. So for me, a book, and then usually the airplane will provide you with a little pillow and a blanket that they throw away once you're done. So that's something I need, because if I'm sitting, I need a blanket.
I've been on a plane where it's super duper cold and you need a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually bring my own blanket and my own pillow. I bought this amazing neck pillow on Amazon. Game changer.
Is it the one where you put your arms through like this, or no? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You blow it up and you put it on the tray and you put your arms through it and
I need that because I usually use the tray.
Mm-hmm.
But
so do I.
no, this one's just a regular neck pillow, but it's so soft. I'm obsessed. And like you said, headphones, a book. I think a book comes in handy because how if your phone dies? How if your iPad dies?
Yeah.
You have that hardcover book.
Mm-hmm.
A passport. When carrying your passport, I found it really handy to wear a Lulu bag because
Yeah.
you can just zip, unzip, and then I have my passport in a case, so I can put my ID, my passport, my credit card, all my stuff in there.
Yeah.
I cannot stand feeling disgusting on the plane, so I always pack deodorant, shower wipes, and moisturizer.
Yeah, I also bring my toothbrush and toothpaste, and
Yes.
if it's a really long flight, I'll go brush my teeth after a while.
Me too, and I have to wash my face because I cannot stand it.
Because it dries out your skin. You
Yeah.
know, you need to have hygiene products while you're flying.
And that it makes you so much more comfortable. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I always have eat the airplane food, have a glass of wine, and then I sleep the entire flight.
Yeah, I try to sleep. I watched A Star Is Born on the way home, and I was
Such a good movie.
sobbing on the airplane. I couldn't believe that I did that to myself, and it was the first time I'd seen it too. So I was literally like, "Why did I do that?"
That's a great movie. This is more for the cruise, but I get seasick, so nausea help is definitely a must.
Yeah, there's a medication we brought that is for seasickness.
I just did the relief band.
Ah, gotcha. I forget what it's called, honestly, so my input is no help right now.
Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my plane tips. What about traveling in Europe?
sensible shoes. Also, whatever American sense of style you have, like, leave the jean shorts at home, leave the crop tops at home. You know, that is not, like, their fashion and, like, appropriate there. So just, like I said, embracing their culture. You know, if you're traveling around Europe, there's probably a likelihood that you're gonna go inside, like, churches and stuff, and you have to have, like, your shoulders covered or certain stuff like that. So if that is something that you're doing, make sure that you are properly packed for that.
In the Vatican, I had to be covered head to toe.
Yeah.
And it was 100 degrees. So it was really hard.
And it's hard, but it's like a respect thing.
But yeah, you have to
do it.
You have to.
Yeah, so just sensible shoes. I mean, I bought, like, a brand new pair of Converse that I was able to dress up by wearing, like, a dress or a skirt or something. I bought a pair of, like, brand new white sneakers. Just, like, sensible shoes, because you will be walking everywhere, and if you're in heels or, like, uncomfortable shoes, you'll be miserable.
I wore my Air Forces everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so glad I did.
Yeah.
Sorry. So it was really hot when I went. So definitely bring a water bottle with you.
Yeah.
I got, like, the Brita water bottle that filters it. But Italy had really nice water, like really clean water. Bring a fan with you. I have one of those little fans you can just, like, plug in your phone, and that literally saved me on one day.
I bought one of those, like,
paper fan,
in Greece, but it broke, so that sucks. But it was like $2, so I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah, that really helped, because there was one day it was so hot, and then I was on one of those hop on hop off buses. No air conditioning.
Yeah, be prepared for that.
Yeah, that was definitely a culture shock.
But and also, oh my gosh, this is really important about Europe. Pickpocketing there is huge. So you're always going to want to have a purse that you can either have right under your shoulder, you know, so, like, it's secure, or a purse that's in front of you, you know, like the fanny packs are really good, like Cicely was saying. But pickpocketing is really huge there, and God forbid somebody comes up to you and steals your passport, then, like, you're shit out of luck. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you can do without your passport. So just always be, like, mindful of that. Sometimes it's honestly, like, we all want to look good, we all want to look fashionable, but security over fashion every day, you know what I mean? Like, making sure your belongings are secured. Don't keep your phone in your back pocket. Like, either have it in your hand or have it in your purse. So always be mindful of pickpocketing, because it is a really bad issue there.
Yeah, that's huge. And this is another just random tip. Uber there is outrageous. So do taxi or walk. Uber was like double.
In Ireland, Ubering was really common, because they have, like,
what's it called?
A deal.
Freebird or whatever?
Yeah, they have, like, a deal with, like, another lifting service. So everyone does it there. But in Europe, cabs are the way to go for sure.
Yeah.
Or walking. Walking is always...
You can walk about everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have a bus, like a free bus.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, Uber, it was like $260 most nights.
That's insanity.
Like, what? But yeah, so I guess just to wrap it up, I don't know, what do you want to wrap it up with?
If you ever have the opportunity to travel, I highly encourage it. My motto is, the money always comes back, but the memories never do. So if you're fortunate and you have the opportunity, I always encourage you to travel, no matter where it is, whether it's an hour away or 15 hours away. You know, an experience is an experience, and you'd rather be able to say that you did it than you didn't. And just always be thankful for your experiences, no matter what. Obviously, we are so unbelievably thankful that we were both able to experience trips of a lifetime that we did. So
yeah, it was really special, because I did it with my mom and my grandma.
So did I, and my sister.
It was so cool. But yeah, let this podcast be the reason for you to take your next trip. So this is your sign. Go book the flight. Go get in your car.
Yeah, get in your car, get on that airplane, get on that cruise.
Do it.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in.
Next time.
Bye.